As we mentioned earlier, 2020 was really the year of not only the pandemic, but K-trot. It became the music that comforted and entertained South Koreans throughout the pandemic. And along with the younger musicians who are at the helm of its revival, trot has even captured the hearts of non-Koreans like our guests today. So, two people who have joined me in the studio today, they are contestants of 트로트 전국 체전. Welcome to Mika Chavala from Tanzania and God's Power Okpala from Nigeria. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you so
morning.
much. Good morning. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. It's our pleasure to have you. We have a lot of people watching on YouTube as well. There's a lot to introduce about YouTube, but because a lot of our listeners will just be listening to your voices, why don't I have you both introduce yourself so we can get accustomed to your voices, okay? Who would like to start? God's Power?
Okay. Hi, my name is God's Power. Yeah.
Or GP, right?
Or
That's
GP,
what I heard, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm from Nigeria. Yeah. I've been living in Korea for about 8 years now. Yeah, that's my short introduction.
Okay, and Mika?
Yeah, me too. I'm Mika Chavala from Tanzania. It's one of the beautiful countries in Africa. And I also came here 8 years ago together with GP. Yes.
I've seen previous interviews, and Mika, you usually say the most beautiful country in Africa, and I was wondering how a GP would react to that, but today you kindly adjusted that as one of the most beautiful countries.
GP agrees with that, by the way.
Oh, do you? I don't know. Okay, so you both studied here as well. So Mika, you studied economics at Seoul National University. You have your own YouTube channel right now, Swahili Nation.
Yes.
And God's Power, you graduated from Daegu University with a degree in mechanical engineering. You want to start an entertainment company as well. So it sounds like you've been very busy in the usual 8 years, you said, that both of you have been here.
Yes, absolutely.
I guess we usually start with, what was your connection? How did you make your way all the way here to Korea? What was your connection?
Well, so
Mika?
For me, my story goes all the way back to middle school when I was a very little kid. I had this dream to study abroad for a very long time. And when I was in middle school, I remember I had two Korean teachers. Yeah, one of them was coming from here, another one was coming from the other side of...
They were teaching Korean, or what were they teaching?
They were teaching. One of them, she was teaching us physics, and another one mathematics.
I see.
Yes. So since then, I started to have a little bit interest with Korea because she was very kind. You know, she would always bring some gift in the class. So it got a lot of my attention, and it was easy for me to learn. And so as soon as I graduated from high school, I remember one of my best friends, his name is Sande Sokoni. He already came here 1 year before me. So I did apply for that, for the same opportunity. And thankful to Korean government because every year is giving like scholarship to...
SNU, right?
To study? Not SNU exactly, but the government of Korea. There's this one program called KGSP, Korean Government Scholarship Program.
I see.
They give scholarship to international students all around the world. So in Tanzania, in my case, they gave scholarship to 2 different students. And, you know, thank God I got it. I got the opportunity, and I was able to come here in 2013.
Well done.
Yes.
But before that, I imagine like you had no experience with Korean.
Definitely.
And studying at SNU is no small feat. And then you studied economics as well. Must have been so difficult. How easy was it to study Korean, first of all, and then to follow along with the classes?
Well, it was pretty hard because back then I didn't know anything about Korea. Not language, not country at large. So when I was coming here, I had no knowledge about Korea. And I learned Korean for like 9 months. And then I joined university, started my bachelor degree, which was crazy. It was really hard because...
I could tell you that was pretty crazy.
Yes, because I was studying with Koreans in Korean economics. So it was not easy. Most of the time, I just spent my private time to study by myself in English to actually try to catch up with the lectures and everything that was going on.
Amazing. And I know that you graduated, so well done to you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Let's talk about you, GP. What was your connection and what brought you here?
My story is a bit similar to Mika, but still different. Like it goes back in Nigeria. I was a young little guy, and my mom like came back from visiting her friends, and she was like, "Oh, I'm really happy. One of my friend's son got a scholarship to study abroad. And she said something that really caught my attention. She was like, I wish one of my kids would get a scholarship and study abroad. So since then, I decided that, I'm going to make my mom's wish come to reality.
Nice. You're
Look at that. Pretending to be a good kid.
Pretending. Okay.
I'm a good kid. So I studied really hard, and I started going for competitions, representing my high school in competitions, and that's how I got this scholarship. Like when I was going for this competition, I didn't know it was a Korean scholarship competition. I just went to represent my school, and then after winning, they're like, "Okay, you're going to Korea."
You're like, what?
So I was like, what?
But you made your mom proud, right?
Of course. She actually cried happy tears. So,
oh, that's very good. Yeah. And so you also, you graduated from Daegu University, and just as difficult, if not more difficult, mechanical engineering.
Of course.
So again, like your Korean, how long did it take you to get accustomed with the language?
It took 10 months. Because actually our scholarship was it had a condition that we have to study Korean language for a year before we start studying our main course.
Okay.
So we studied for 10 months, and I mean, it was really difficult, but we knew that we had to study Korean to succeed in Korean.
So quick tip to people who are still struggling to learn Korean: how do you master the language in 10 months?
Wow. And for me, I memorized a lot of Korean words, which come in handy even right now, because sometimes I hear a word and I'm like, I know that word. And all of a sudden, like kapjagi, I just know the meaning. So I memorize a lot of words. Yeah.
I could see you're very good at Konglish too, right? Mixing English and Korean. Well, of course, you really have captured a lot of hearts here in Korea because of your participation in this K-trot TV show. And looking at the previous interviews, I know that, because I think quite a few of our listeners might be already familiar with you. I know that are you still roommates? And you seem to be quite good friends again as well.
Yeah, we still live together in different rooms.
Different rooms, yeah. You gotta be specific.
Right. So let's talk about how you got to participate in this show. I mean, both of you very talented musicians. And you obviously were friends before you took part in the show together as well. Yeah. So if you can explain how that came about.
Yeah, talking about K-trot, before I've done a couple of shows.
Music shows?
Yeah, music show as well. So I got a call from the writer from that particular channel, and they asked me if I would be interested to participate in trot. But at that time, I didn't really know what trot was. Yeah. So I remember first time I actually rejected. They reached out again, and I rejected. The last time when they reached out to me, I was with GP. So I asked GP, I was like, GP, do you know what is trot? And he was like, yes, I know trot. He explained to me. And so I was like, what about doing this together? And so that was actually the connection, how it got. And from that point, we started to prepare for the show, and it turned out the way it was.
So it seems like you rejected them twice. So that means like maybe you weren't interested in trot. Well, obviously you didn't know about trot, but when you first heard it, were you still not kind of on board with it? Were you not falling in love with K-trot right away?
I gotta be honest, because after GP explained it to me, I was like, I heard this music before, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it right. But all the time, that's why it's good to be very careful who you surround yourself with, because GP, he's
good
kind
friends
of
like GP.
He's kind of person that he roasts me most of the time, but also he encourages me. So it was like, I think we can do this. We can just take a chance and do. But back then I didn't know how big it would be. I just thought we just go to sing trot. That's it. Yeah.
GP, did you like trot? Were you a fan of trot? Or was it kind of like, it sounds like fun, why don't we try it together?
Actually, trot was one of the instruments that helped me with my Korean language when I was in when I was doing my language course.
No.
So
really? Give me a song then. Give me an example. Yeah, like what song helped you?
There's this song by Tesong, Nalpa Nalpa Kwisa.
Oh yes, I know that.
I really like that song. I used to sing in my room, Nalpa Nalpa Kwisa.
I guess it is quite easier to follow along trot, right?
Yeah,
the pronunciation and the repetitive. So when Mika came to you with this suggestion, you jumped at it right away.
Yeah.
And then you performed, and the response has been pretty explosive as well. What was the song that you guys performed?
So, we performed for the first round, Saran Twist. Second round, what's the name?
노란 샤스.
노란 샤스.
기억 안 나?
And then the third one was Bounce.
I love all three songs. Could you, if you don't mind, I know it's early in the morning, but could you give it a little taste of what you performed on the show to our listeners?
Definitely.
Yeah? Which one will it be?
We'll do 사랑의 트위스트.
All right, let's hear a little bit of that.
Okay. All right,
Warming up.
Okay. 샹하이 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 트위스트 추면서 난 생총 그녀를 알았고 샹하이 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 트위스트 추면서 온 동네를 주름 잡아도 사랑했던 모든 사람들의 잊지 못할 추억의 트위스트. Something like that.
Oh, lovely. That's really good.
Yeah,
so early in the morning and so cold outside, but that was really good.
I appreciate it.
Yeah. Listeners, if you haven't tuned into our live stream, you might want to still join us on live stream. You can see them as well, and they're having so much fun. And we have, I think, is that your official photographer outside as well? Who's, or your cheerleader? It's great to have her as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So 8 years in Korea, it seems like you got to learn about trot or got to experience trot pretty late in your sort of stay, though.
Exactly.
How much do you love it now? And do you think it has the potential to become as big as K-pop?
Definitely.
Even in Africa? Yeah.
Definitely. For the case of Africa, I think even in this show that we have participated, I've seen a tremendous support from African people towards us. So I think if Korean entertainment companies or ministry, they want to expand all over the world, especially in Africa,
right.
I think we are the right guys to use.
Yeah.
At this point, because people, I think people,
power.
African people who are very curious and they want to learn new things, they want to understand different culture. So K-Trot, definitely it has a big potential back home in Africa.
How do you propose to promote K-Trot in your respective countries or in Africa? Do you have some ideas, JP?
I have.
GP, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot think of a better way than to use the indigenous people, which is us from Africa, right?
Definitely.
Because right now I don't know about Tanzania, but in Nigeria, Korean culture and Korean music is really famous. There are a lot of people that are interested.
Same to Tanzania.
They actually, I met few people in Nigeria that actually learned Korean through Korean drama.
Wow.
So these guys, I'm actually shocked. I'm like, how can you learn Korean through Korean drama? So these guys are actually, interested and they are willing to get into this Korean culture.
Exactly.
So I feel it's possible.
Right. I asked you because you want to start up an entertainment company, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be in Korea or back at home, but maybe you can use your experience in both countries to make it kind of a unique company.
Definitely.
But there must be times when you feel homesick, whether it's the food or like the weather, like when it's kind of like today. And granted, you are both young. You're still in your early 20s or mid 20s, right?
Late 20s.
Late 20s now. Okay, so old, yes. So how do you overcome that homesickness, or how do you maintain like your connection with home and your home culture?
Yes, personally, as I said, I'm a YouTuber. I do YouTube called Swahili Nation, and pretty much is the platform where I connect all people from all over the world through Swahili language. Swahili is my mother tongue language back home in Tanzania. And so through this YouTube, I do a lot of reaction from my country and different parts of Africa as well. So in that sense, every single day I get Taste of Africa because I do reaction on the music. And also because we're living together, sometimes GP, he's a really chef, by the way. He don't look like that, but he really he cooks really well. So yeah, so most of time, sometimes we just cook some Tanzanian dishes or Nigerian dishes at home, and doing some music, or right now because of COVID, we cannot really meet our friends.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's what has been keeping us moving forward. Whenever we feel like we miss home and we want to be there, so we cannot be there physically, but we are there in our mentality and in everything we do. Yeah,
I think with the past year, especially with COVID-19, no one could go home, or it's very difficult to go home. So I think, we're trying to maintain that connection with whoever we love overseas through these online purposes. And I imagine things have gotten better over the past 8 years as well. People's interest and maybe understanding of African cultures and your own countries has grown too. What do you do, GP, when you get homesick, and do you start just whipping up food?
He cries a lot.
For me, Nigerian entertainment come in handy for me, because I don't know if you know, but our entertainment industry is the top in Africa.
I did not know that.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
I'm sorry.
I mean, both the music and the movie. So most times when I miss my culture or my family or like anything relating to my country, I actually watch our movies or listen to our songs. It actually helps me. It takes me back and reminds me of, man, I'm a Nigerian, because sometimes we forget. I actually, not sometimes, I always forget that I'm Nigerian.
You think you're Korean, right?
Yeah, of course.
Our listener June saying, wow, perfect Korean accent. So if we just hear you, we think you're Korean, right? So you have both finished your studies, and I know you have grand plans, like you want to start up your entertainment company, and Mika, you want to be the president of Tanzania.
Yes,
as well.
Big dreams.
So big dreams, and I wish you the best of luck. But what about your future plans? I mean, you must be kind of in a hiatus right now, kind of trying to figure out what to do, whether you want to stick with music, or it could be, I could imagine you both acting as well, whether it's in Korean or English. You're very good looking and very talented, obviously.
Thank you. You're beautiful too.
I am good looking. I don't know about you.
So tell us about your future plans. Maybe GP, you can start.
Yeah, for me, the reason why, just as you mentioned, I want to start an entertainment company, which is, I feel it's gonna be different, because I mean, all this, I've done a lot of entertainment stuff, both with Mika and also alone when I was in Daegu. And I kind of didn't like the way it's being run. So I want to create something different.
Yep.
Give people more opportunity. And also, I'm a guy that I grew up in Nigeria. So I have my own culture. And then I lived for a while in Korea, and I experienced this different culture, totally like different from mine. So I want to mix these two culture and create something new. Just like I said, it's like already existing menu. I'm creating another new recipe from that menu. Yeah. So it's always gonna be my dream. It's a struggle, it's a hustle, but I think it's possible. It can be done. Yeah. At the same time, I'm joining those two cultures together. And me as a representative, which I mean, it's actually a really difficult job.
I'm sure it is, but the best dreams and the biggest dreams, they do take a lot of hard work, and that's why they're more rewarding. What about you, Mika?
For me, as you know, becoming a president of Tanzania is not something that is going to happen within a day, right? It's something that has to be planned of like couple years before. Like right now, I know 20 years later, I'll become president of Tanzania. And even Swahili Nation, what I'm doing right now, YouTube and everything, it's not just YouTube, but it's a strategy that I'm trying to connect Africans and everybody, leading me towards to the journey of becoming a president. That later on, when I'm running for the office, I'll have something on my hand and be like, hey, I've done this and I've done that and I've done that.
Differentiating you from the contenders, the other contenders. I wish you the best of luck, and thank you both for coming in today. It's been a real pleasure.
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And that's going to bring us to the end of today's show. And indeed, the answer to our question of the day was cold. The Chinese character Han means cold. By the way, we had one last message from Kim Do-kyung saying, you guys reminded 도경 of their days in Congo. They lived in Congo, and they really miss those days from time to time. So thank you once again. Our show is produced by Christina Zhao, writing by Jennifer Chang, and I'm Na Seung-yeon. We are going to hand it over to Uncode with Uncoded, so stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, stay warm. We will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. for more Life Abroad.